Live from New York, this is the Harvey Hour. My name's Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Good to be back with you here on the Harvey Hour. How you doing on this Friday fun day, Friday evening? How you doing today?
I'm doing great. Looking forward to the show here.
Yeah, we got
a lot to talk about.
We got a pretty big show, but let's get into our first topic because it is a pretty big one. We're talking about something Devin McCourty said last week on the Greg Hill Show on WEEI Radio, and we're going to play that for you right now.
I don't think he should be subjected to as much kind of displeasure and scrutiny that he gets. Is he had a good, like, we sat here as his rookie year and was like, hey, I know as a player, I was like, I'm with this. Like, I like this new era. We don't have Tom Brady anymore, so like, let's throw out the things that you were able to do with Tom. That's not walking through the door. To get Matt to come in here, we go to the playoffs. It's like, okay, here we go. Then what happened this year from an offensive situation, coaching staff wise, like if Mac would have been great, then I would be sitting here telling you, give him $200 million right now. Because if he would have been great with what we had and a lot of people talked about in training camp, there were a lot of rough days offensively. For Mac, like, he needs to have some consistency. He needs, like, right now is what we've watched in Tua's career. And I'm not saying Tua is the next great thing, but like, he got a consistent offensive coordinator around him this year. He got weapons, and it was productive. I think player-wise, I think there was enough trust that, like, hey, we're going to put the best guy out there. But I think the struggles on offense always turned into, I think there were some guys that are in the locker room like, all right, let's go with Zappy. All right, no, Mac looked good today. It was just a back and forth, which to me spoke more about what we had on offense than the quarterback. We never were solidified as an offensive group that guys had full confidence in anything we were doing. Like, if something worked one day, like running the ball with Mondre and when Dame was healthy and them two were going back and forth running the ball, everybody said, let's run. And then if we had a game where, like, we're throwing the ball, let's pass. Or let's just not turn the ball over because we're scoring on defense. Like, it was, to me, it was just that cycle of there was never, like, true hope.
So, you just heard Devin McCourty speak about Mac Jones and the situation. That ending part was he was asked talking about what exactly happened in the Chicago Bears game, and he basically alluded to that both quarterbacks were supposed to play. Mac came in. He got taken out of the game. He was supposed to go back in, but he was dealing with a high ankle sprain, and the numbness went away, so his leg was basically dead. He couldn't work on it, so Bailey Zappi stayed in the game. So we're back talking about this topic again. So do you think right now the Patriots should move off of Mac Jones and replace him with Bailey Zappi, or in this case, in this environment we're in, go out and spend the money to get Lamar Jackson? Do you think they should at least move off of Mac Jones?
Well, first, let me congratulate Devin McCourty on a fantastic career. 13 years, three Super Bowls, three Super Bowl wins. He was drafted in the first round of the 2010 draft at number 28. And when they were trying to make that decision about who to draft, they interviewed him. Bill Belichick said he was blown away by Devin McCourty's knowledge of the defense, right? He knew what every player on defense was supposed to be doing, and they went through it. They went through the backfield, and he described, Belichick gave him some situations, and McCourty described exactly what each player was supposed to do. He said, wow, that's pretty good. I'll try him on the linebackers. He knew what every linebacker was supposed to do. He said, that's amazing. I'll try to ask him and trip him up on the linemen. And he knew their roles as well. So he was an extremely smart player. He's going to be missed by the Patriots. And congratulations to him. Whether he makes the Hall of Fame or not, we'll see. I think he has a pretty good chance of getting into the Hall of Fame based on his record and his Super Bowl wins. So now your comment about what the Patriots ought to do at quarterback. My own thought is that they should let Zappi and Jones fight it out in the preseason and see who plays better. My guess is that Mac Jones is going to get the start, even if Bailey Zappi plays really well. I don't think they're going to trade Mac Jones. I don't think there's a chance that Lamar Jackson's coming to the Patriots, although You never say never, but this is going to be a lot of money, and the Patriots aren't known for that, of laying out a huge amount of money for one player. So I don't think Lamar Jackson's coming there. I do think they'll give Bailey Zappi a good look in the preseason. I think push comes to shove, Mac Jones is going to be the starter in 2023.
Very interesting. Do you think, let's say you're right, or let's just say, let's take it off the past 2 years, right? Mac Jones rookie year, and now this past year. Do you think the Patriots have provided him the best opportunity to retain that starting job?
In the first season, sure.
Okay.
First season, I think they had a huge vote of confidence in him, right? They released Cam Newton and made him the starter as a rookie.
Yeah.
That was gutsy, and it worked out. It worked out very well.
I agree.
I think they had better offensive schemes, and they had a great offensive coordinator, one of the better offensive coordinators ever in the NFL, and Josh McDaniels. So, that benefited Mac Jones a lot. He excelled. He had a few games that weren't so good. As he got on in the season, he went through a stretch where he wasn't that good. They did make the playoffs. They got pounded by the Bills in the playoffs. And this past year was for him not a great year. He got hurt for a while there, and the schemes weren't that good. He didn't like he and Joe Judge didn't get along, and he, they were openly fighting on the field between Patricia and him in terms of the plays getting into the game. So it was not a good situation. He didn't adapt well to that, and he didn't play as well. Is he a better player than he showed last season? I think so.
Right.
But if he doesn't show that early on under his new offensive coordinator, who's one of the better ones, I think they picked up a guy who is very good. He's been a head coach before and had a lot of success as head coach. He was the offensive coordinator for the Patriots back when Brady was the quarterback for a while, and they had a lot of success then. So there's no doubt that they have a good offensive coordinator now. How well Mac Jones performs in his system remains to be seen. I would say if Bailey Zappi has a great preseason and Mac Jones gets off to a slow start, who knows? You could see him benched and Zappi in there. We'll see.
I think, right, if we're going to give Bailey Zappi the same exact playbook as Mac Jones, because it was broken down when Bailey Zappi was in there, how exactly the playbook really molded around, it was super simplistic when Bailey Zappi was there, and Mac Jones was trying to work around this Matt Patricia weird style of offense. I keep harking back to it, but I believe it was the Boston Globe that came out with that report about how saying that they had, 10 passing plays that they designed, and they had 50 rushes and a bunch of screen passes and all this other stuff. It was just a horribly designed offense. I do agree with you. I think Bill O'Brien is a great offense coordinator. I don't like I would rather you keep Jonnu Smith instead of Mike Gesicki, because I think Jonnu Smith is a more agile and sort of that half-back tight end style, like an Aaron Hernandez type of blend. And I think he's actually going to work really, really well with Arthur Smith again in Atlanta. But I think when you talk about, just look at their own division now, okay? Look at their own division. The Jets have acquired Alan Lazard. They got Mecole Hardman. They got a speedster, and they got a 6'5" guy. And they also have the offensive rookie of the year, Garrett Wilson. The Bills have Stephon Diggs and Gabriel Davis, and they'll probably work around that. But Josh Allen he's basically how that offense runs. And then you take a look at the Dolphins, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Tua when he's healthy. Offensive line can use a little bit of work. And then you look at the Patriots. Who's their extremely nice skill player? Devontae Parker, who barely plays? Is it Juju Smith-Schuster, who's had injury history?
Ramondre Stevenson, I think, is the best offensive player.
But if we're talking about how Mac Jones should perform,
Ramondre Stevenson had a great season.
He did. He had 1,000 yards.
He also caught 50 or 60 passes too.
Right.
So he's their best offensive player.
I don't think.
And Mac Jones, maybe. I think the two of them, right? It's like the Giants with Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley. They were their two best offensive players. That's what the Patriots have to be if they think they're going to go anywhere this year, and the wide receivers have got to play a lot better.
But here's the thing with Daniel Jones, though. Daniel Jones is saying Daniel Jones needs a wide receiver one. He needs actual talent to throw it to. How about the Patriots? I have a list of every single Patriots draft pick since 2010. So we're going on 12 years of draft picks of wide receivers. I'm going to bring it up right now. So from 2010, Taylor Price, who's he? Exactly. Jeremy Ebert, who knows? Josh Boyce, no one knows. Aaron Dobson was there for a half minute. Jeremy Gallen, no one knows. Devin Lucien, no one knows. Malcolm Mitchell had potential, retired because of an injury. Braxton Berrios didn't play a single snap with the Patriots. He was on the Jets, and then he got released. I believe he's still on the market, but I could be wrong. N'Keal Harry, who was a bust for the Patriots and seems like he doesn't even play on the Bears anymore. Trey Nixon, he was on the practice squad, didn't play a single snap. And Tyquan Thornton, who got overplayed last year and did not perform. I believe he had, 200 yards passing and 200 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns? No All-Pros, no Pro Bowls, no 1,000-yard receiving seasons. And you might say, well, Braxton Berrios is an All-Pro. Yeah, as a punt returner, not as a wide receiver. So I'm not counting that if we're talking about receiver talent. Is this what Belichick loves to do, is to draft receivers? Well,
he gave up on that, and he tried to bring them in as free agents.
And misses.
He tried to bring them in as free agents and didn't do so well either.
It didn't work.
Well, I don't know. Devontae Parker is still...
he's not healthy.
Well, when he is healthy, he's good, and he was healthy for 11 games this past season, I think. Was it 11 games?
I don't have it in front of me.
And maybe he can with Schuster there, the two of them, maybe they can make a difference, and they won't put too much heat on Parker, and he'll stay healthy.
Since 2019, so Brady's last year, first of all, the only reason Brady left was because, there were 2 reasons. One, they would not extend him on a long-term deal. And he said even before that season that he was going to leave the Patriots, and my guess would be he had no one to throw it to. Jacoby Myers wasn't himself. N'Keal Harry was his number, besides Julian Edelman, who led the league in drops in 2019. He was basically the number 2 target. Devontae Parker played 13 games. 13 games this past
not
season.
Bad.
Not bad at all. He started 11 of those. So since 2019, these are the Patriots wide receiver core rankings. So 2019, they had Edelman, they had Philip Dorsett, Jacoby Myers, Mohamed Sanu for only 8 games, Josh Gordon for 6 games, N'Keal Harry. That was their main receiver core. They were ranked 16th in the league. In 2020, that's Cam Newton's year. He had Jacoby Myers, and I believe Edelman was still there. He only played 6 games. He was out with an injury. N'Keal Harry, and then Damiere Byrd. That was their main receiver core. They were ranked 30th. In 2021, Mac Jones' rookie year, Jacoby Myers, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, who has now got signed to the Baltimore Ravens today.
For $3 million.
Yeah, great deal there. And N'Keal Harry. That was their 4 main receivers, ranked 26th. This past season, Jacoby Myers, Devontae Parker, Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar, Tyquan Thornton. That was their main receiver core, ranked 20th. The average Patriots receiver core, from Brady to Cam to Mac, 23rd. A bottom 10 wide receiver core.
They have to do something about that.
And they won't. They swing and miss. And that's why I'm saying, going into this draft, if he's available, you need to get the Ohio State receiver, Jackson Smith-Njigba. But here's the thing. The Patriots don't draft receivers that high. And if they do, hence N'Keal Harry, first of all, N'Keal Harry, I don't think was ranked in the first 3 rounds as a receiver. I don't even think I'm pretty sure he was a day 3 prospect. But that's Bill Belichick. So I'm telling you right now, we're going to do a mock in a couple weeks. We're just going to make our own mock draft. I'm willing to bet the Patriots go defensive because they want to replace Devin McCourty. I think they're going to go cornerback or safety because receiver they're going to swing and a miss. And I don't think Belichick would do that because I think he feels that he can get away with this because that's what Bill Belichick has done. He gets away with run game and defense. The passing game only succeeded because of Tom Brady, and we're seeing this year after year after year without Tom Brady. The average wide receiver core was ranked 23rd in the league. Does Belichick still feel like he has Tom Brady behind center and he could just throw it to these guys and make them into a Super Bowl team?
His mindset is kind of that way, right? Because he has not upgraded the receiver core to be elite, and maybe that's what he needs with a quarterback who is not Tom Brady by any stretch, right? You got to counter that by having much better wide receivers, and so far they don't.
And now the report is, and this you talk about, I was upset over the Juju signing. They are now. There's a very, very unreal chance they pursue DeAndre Hopkins.
I don't think they're going to get him.
And why? Why wouldn't you go get the best receiver on the market?
He and Bill O'Brien never got along, number one. Number two, he's not somebody who practices very hard. He has an issue with that. He's been called out on that before, and that's an issue in the Patriots organization. Number three, he gets hurt now. He has injury issues. And number four, it's going to cost a lot to get him.
He said he would rework his contract.
Yeah. To come to the Patriots or
to come to any team. Any team.
I think they'd look at OBJ before they'd look at...
OBJ is still with an ACL tear the past 2 years.
I still think they'd look at him before they look at DeAndre Hopkins.
I think regardless of who you get, Jerry Jeudy...
Jerry Jeudy was
the Broncos are asking for an absurd amount. They're asking for, I think it was a low or like a high second-round pick plus a skill player. Yeah. And DeAndre Hopkins, his stock is actually dropping due to the Brandon Cooks signing with a fifth round. They got him for 5th and 6th. They got him for. So now it looks like the prices are coming down for DeAndre Hopkins. You got to go attack an alpha receiver in DeAndre Hopkins because you got to get someone. Jerry Jeudy's too young, and we haven't even seen him really evolve. And you already signed Juju Smith-Schuster, who the team that had him during the Super Bowl run that I believe got the penalty called on him, who James Bradbury was covering on the penalty. I'm pretty sure it was Juju. The Chiefs said, okay, take him. We're not going to spend $11 million a year, $12 million a year on Juju Smith-Schuster. And Devin McCourty even said that he would rather have Jacoby Myers on the team than Juju Smith-Schuster. He said he was shocked that the Patriots would not offer that deal to Jacoby Myers, but instead offer it to Juju.
I agree with that. They penalized Jacoby Myers for that play he made, throwing the ball.
If the Patriots are that petty, then they have everything coming towards them. Yeah. I honestly believe
They've done it before. They penalized who was the guy that was a slot receiver before Edelman?
Was it Josh Gordon?
No.
Antonio Brown?
Slot receiver. Small guy.
They had a bunch of slot receivers.
No, he went to the Broncos.
The Broncos? Oh, yeah. Wes Welker.
Wes Welker. They penalized him, too. He dropped the pass and would have won the Super Bowl.
But he was there a whole other year after that, though. That was 2011
still, they didn't
Super
give
Bowl.
him the big contract after that.
Yeah, when he was, 31 when he got the contract? 32?
Asante Samuels missed the interception. They would have won him the Super Bowl.
He also
did they
made
give
bank.
him the free agent contract? He was gone, too.
He was on a franchise tag, and he made
That's
bank.
Belichick. I think there's a lot of examples of it.
The Patriots are making so many mistakes. They don't go out. They don't spend money. So that's what I'm saying. If you want to spend money on the actual talent to surround your team with, and you only care about defense, how about you spend the money on a quarterback? Mm-hmm. Spend it on Lamar. We're going to talk about Lamar later on in the show, but spend it on Lamar. You got nothing here because look at this. I'll bring it up one more time. Tom Brady can't win with he won with Malcolm Mitchell. But I don't
won a
think
Super Bowl.
Gallen, I don't think made the team. Mitchell's the only one he won with since
the Patriots won the Super Bowl in 14, 16, and 18, right?
Yeah. Gallen never played a single snap.
They had Julian Edelman,
but he got drafted in 2009.
They had Gronkowski.
But here's the thing: would you think Julian Edelman is a wide receiver 1 on most playoff teams?
The guy could always get open. He always found a way to get open. He was always open.
Like these receivers were not elite, but they fit with the Patriots scheme. That's what made them great. Amendola was not a phenomenal receiver outside of the Patriots. Was he somewhat efficient? Yeah, he was okay with the Rams. He was okay with the Lions. He came on the Patriots, and he was one of the greatest playoff receivers in recent history the Patriots have had. He had enormous amounts of clutch catches. I believe he caught both the touchdown passes in the Jacksonville, was it the divisional game or the championship game against Saxonville? He did that. And then you take him off, and you take Tom Brady off, and you put Mac Jones in there. You think the same success will come out of it. It's not how it works. And you're bringing back practice squad guys and special teams guys and defensive guys who are low on the depth chart, or guys that aren't really that great, and you're expecting them to succeed.
No, it doesn't work if you don't have a quarterback like Tom Brady, and there aren't any other quarterbacks like him. So I think they have to.
It's a mentality.
They have to update that, but I don't think they're going to go after DeAndre Hopkins.
It's a mistake.
Who he is and his history with Bill O'Brien. I don't think that's going to happen.
It's the biggest mistake ever. Watch, and you know what? Maybe we'll see. As long as Bill O'Brien can replicate sort of what Josh McDaniels was efficiency wise, because it seems like people forgot Mac Jones rookie year. Mac Jones was phenomenal his rookie year. Had better.
I wouldn't call him phenomenal.
Some of his stats, some of his passing stats were better than Mahomes, better than Tom Brady, better than Matt Stafford.
Yeah, he had a stretch there where he played pretty poor.
It was late in the year, but he was a rookie.
Yeah,
he didn't have rookie mistakes until end of the year. And we're talking about, and I heard on WEEI a while ago, has Mac Jones really been the cause of any wins that they've had? Yeah. He's also played, by the way, the Bailey Zappi Mac Jones comparison. Mac Jones QBR-wise, scale of 0 to 100, he had a higher peak than Bailey Zappi did. The Packers game, he only threw for 99 yards. His best game was against the Browns, but I believe they also ran for like 150 yards. But Bailey Zappi did throw for 309, I believe. But we're talking about like the Vikings game. That wasn't Mac Jones played phenomenally in that game. It was the special teams that screwed him over.
Yeah.
The Dallas game, not this past year, the year before, they gave up that big play to CD for the touchdown. Mac Jones played really, really well in that game.
Yeah.
The Titans game 2 years ago, they were the number 1 seed in the AFC. They beat him with Mac Jones. Mac Jones played great in that game.
I'm telling you, Nate, I think that Mac Jones is going to be the starter this year.
I'm like just to give up on Mac Jones, we forget literally this past season, the last game of the year.
I'm not giving up on Mac Jones.
You've said a couple times that
last year during the year I was very frustrated with some of his play, but I do agree that with he deserves another look with a new offensive coordinator, and maybe. It'd be nice if they could get one more receiver, but I don't think they're going to.
And
maybe they draft one. Maybe
you need to draft.
Maybe in my draft picks there, I'll have them first round wide receiver pick.
It'll be a smart idea for the Patriots to go after JSN, but the question is, will they? It doesn't seem like Belichick's MO to go that high for a receiver. What was his high?
Hasn't been, but maybe he'll change his mind. I mean, he does have Kyle Duggar back there as safety. Right.
They also have Adrian Phillips as well, who Devin McCourty gives props to. He thinks both them are doing will step up to the challenge.
And Jabril Peppers is a safety.
They brought him back, and we'll see. He didn't really play great. He was out. He was injured to start off the year, I believe. And it'll be interesting to see what the Patriots do. I do not feel well in that division. Everyone is getting extreme talent. They're spending money.
Well, right now the Jets don't have a quarterback yet.
They don't have a quarterback
yet,
but they got receivers. They need to upgrade an O-line. Their defense was top 4.
That didn't do it for them last year.
They almost made the playoffs with Zach Wilson and a half-broken Mike White.
But if they wind up with that kind of setup this year, they won't make the playoffs. They won't make it. They need that quarterback. They got to land Aaron Rodgers. And,
we're going to talk about him next,
Jackson.
actually.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers because the Jets recently traded Elijah Moore over to the Browns. We actually have that here. This is the trade terms. The Jets got a second-round pick, the 42nd pick, in this year's draft for a third-round pick in Elijah Moore they gave over to the Browns. So people are speculating that, does this mean that they're getting closer to a trade? And then Schefter comes out, and I believe it was Schefter that came out and said, yeah, this trade has nothing to do with Aaron Rodgers. This is not a try to lure Rodgers in more with with this trade. And also, it seems like OBJ, according to Connor Hughes, Aaron Rodgers and Odell Beckham have discussed playing in New York together, and the Jets have a very real interest in adding OBJ to the wide receiver room, even after signing Allen Lazard and Mecole Hardman. So, with these moves, with Aaron's wish list that they're seemingly going to fill out, they're only missing 38-year-old blocking tight end Mercedes Lewis and walking fossil Randall Cobb. Do you think the Jets and the Packers are closer to getting this deal done?
I'm not sure. I think that if that deal does not get done before the draft, then I think that the Jets are in a bad spot because the Packers have no incentive to get it done until they could get way into the preseason before they get it done. In fact, they don't have to exercise their option on Aaron Rodgers until like the first day of the season. So I think the Packers are in the driver's seat on this one.
I agree with you.
I think the Jets don't have much leverage. The only thing they got really going for them, and I do think the Packers think that they can win with the team that they have right now. They're not that anxious to get those picks right now.
Well, I don't think otherwise they'd be begging Aaron Rodgers. Come back, play for us.
Yeah, right. That or they don't. They think they can win with Love, and
they should. He looked good,
and they would be anxious to not desperate to get those picks this year. They might take them in 24. They might take those picks.
Right.
So But I do think that there's a good chance that the trade will get done before the draft because the Jets have the 13th pick.
Correct.
And they'll have to give that up. And with Aaron Rodgers playing for them, maybe the pick next year will be not so great, right? Because they have a chance to win more games.
Of course.
Probably make the playoffs, and then they drop down in the draft. So that 13th pick looks pretty juicy right now for the Packers
100%
to do that deal. But I'm not so sure. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I think the Packers have the leverage. I think they are in the driver's seat.
I agree with you, but that's the question of what are the Packers exactly begging for? Because the report was they want a first-round pick and plus probably a second first-round pick. And the Jets, according to reports, it seems like the Jets have lowballed the Packers. The Packers were insulted with that, and then the reports came out about how they wanted one first-round pick, if not another one. And that's where we're at right now. We're still at the terms. And right now the Jets are desperate. Desperate times call for desperate measures. The problem is, though, you're giving up a 13th pick for a guy to play 1 year with you. Because Aaron Rodgers was 90% retired going into this offseason.
I bet he plays 2 years.
I don't think he's going to be playing that second year.
Why? Because he's owed another $50 million.
He's actually making $60 million this year, so he's got, what, 40 next year?
Okay, $40 million.
But it's Aaron Rodgers is about to throw $100 million away. He had a 90% chance to throw $100 million away before his darkness retreat.
Yeah, and
think
guess
about
what?
that.
He went into the darkness and he came out and said, I want the money.
Well, he got rejuvenated because he checked his phone after he came out of the darkness, and then he saw the Packers were openly shopping him. They should have, because you went into the darkness for, 4 days, and then didn't speak to the Packers, didn't want to communicate anything.
And came out and said, I want to play for the New York Jets.
And he saw that. He's like, yo, what the hell? Let me go play for the Jets. Let me spark up a deal and say I don't want to play for you guys. Good. The Packers made this decision. Let's say they probably could have started Jordan Love by week 15, 14, when the Packers had, a 10% chance to make the playoffs. And you would actually see, Jordan Love's a good quarterback. Or Jordan Love can't really play at the NFL level. We may need to draft one. Something like that. But instead, you kept Aaron Rodgers. So now you're banking on the hope that he looks good in practice, and that'll translate to the NFL field. He looked okay against the Eagles when they took out Aaron Rodgers, and that's what they're banking on. But I do think the Packers do have a lot of the leverage here because the Jets are that desperate. Rodgers is still under contract with the Packers. They don't need to trade him at all if they don't want to.
I think the Jets, they should have bitten the bullet, given up the 2 first-round picks, and had the deal done already. They really should have done that because now they're behind the 8 ball, and they've lost. I don't think they have as much leverage. All they have is the hope that the Packers look at that 13th pick, and they think, you know what, we could add a piece with that, and we think we have a pretty good team. It may help us move up even a little bit more. I think that's what the Jets have got to hope for. They should have tried. They should have gotten the deal done sooner. They should have bitten the bullet, given up the 2 first-round picks, ensured they had Aaron Rodgers as their quarterback, and moved on, because they're going to get eaten alive by the media in New York if they don't pull this off.
If you're going to give up 2 first-round picks, why spend it on a 40-year-old quarterback? Why not go out and make an offer to Lamar Jackson?
That's something maybe they should consider. And maybe that's something that forces the Packers' hand. Maybe the Packers will say, hey, you know what? Lamar is still out there, and Lamar isn't going to make a deal until the Jets figure out what their deal is going to be.
Maybe.
Because that's Lamar's one last best hope, right? Because he's not going to get big offers from others now.
It doesn't seem like that.
So that's his one last best hope, that the Aaron Rodgers deal doesn't get done, and that he can go to the Jets, and the Jets will say, you know what, we were going to have to, as you say, give up 2 first-rounders for a guy who's only going to be with us for 2 years. Let's give it to Lamar. He's a young guy, and we'll have him for 4 years.
At least.
And it's only going to cost us another $120 million, probably.
About.
Yeah.
So,
which is about the average salary that they're going to be paying Aaron Rodgers for 2 years. Right? Yeah. So that's probably the better move for them.
It's the smarter move.
Yeah. But then they got to worry that the Ravens will
they won't match it.
They will match it.
Yeah.
And then Lamar will have to be back with them. But now I'm hearing Lamar is leaking that he doesn't really want to go back to the Ravens.
Yeah. We're going to get into that after the break. But I think it's very, very interesting when you look at this and you see, oh, well, okay, the Jets are making all these moves, right? That they, according to Diana Rossini, Rodgers, when they met, gave him a wish list, and then he went on the Pat McAfee show and said, I never made a list of demands. Well, okay, we're using words here. You like to say demands, but it's actually a wish list. You're not saying, get these guys or I'm not coming.
Yeah.
You're saying, I strongly recommend you take a look into these guys. And now the Jets signed Alan Lazard. They got Mecole Hardman, who wasn't part of that. Mercedes Lewis, Rodgers likes. Randall Cobb, Rodgers likes. They're flip-flopping their wide receiver core.
No, you know what? They made the mistake they made, I think, at this point is they went and got all those guys, right? They went and got Nathaniel Hackett to be their offensive coordinator.
I think that was
they don't have Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
They don't have him. They have to work out a deal to get him.
Right.
And now now the Packers will look at that and say, well, they set the table for Aaron Rodgers, but they don't have him.
Right.
We can hold out.
Yep.
Let's hold out. We don't need that pick desperately. Our team is pretty good. We can probably do okay with the team we've got. Let's just sit on it for a while. And guess what? We may wind up with even more because the Jets will panic.
Yeah.
The Jets' option with them would be to court Lamar Jackson, right? And
That's what I
hope
would
that they
do.
can make a deal to him that the Ravens won't counter. Yeah, I don't know. It's really interesting what's going to happen.
We got to
We're gonna
remember,
see what's
though.
happening. But guess what? I think the Jets will, in the end, will wind up. It won't work out well for them because it never does for them. That quarterback, or they
agree
are
with that.
an unlucky team in all of these things. I'm not wishing it on them, but it's just
true.
the way it's panned out over the years. They have not made any good deals. They've made very lousy deals.
Right.
And this one could be one of the worst for them.
Well, we got to remember Brett Favre, who Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre's careers are literally
that
walking
turned
stick.
out to be a lousy deal.
It
Did. It was a lousy deal.
He went 8-3 with the Jets, and then he got hurt. It turned out he got hurt. Yes,
Yeah.
but Brett Favre
But they didn't. You know
retired.
what?
That
He got
year.
hurt, but they didn't take him out. He kept playing, and while he was hurt, he played crappy. He played terrible.
Yeah,
They
but
should have sat him down. They might have been able to win 2 games without him, and then they would have made the playoffs. As it was, they didn't make the playoffs.
maybe. But we got to remember, Brett Favre retired that year he was traded. I have it right in front of me. April 25th of 2008, he retired. Then he got traded. He came back in August and got traded to the Jets in August for, according to this, an undisclosed pick that year. So we could be here it's March. We could be here for technically another 5 months. And the Jets will be back and forth with the Packers, maybe because they apparently reportedly haven't spoken in a week. In over a week. They have not communicated. So who's going to bite the bullet here? Are the Jets going to say, we're desperate enough, let's just give in and hope we get instant success out of this? Or are they going to be stubborn about it? Or do the smart thing? Offer Lamar Jackson, give an offer sheet to Lamar Jackson. The only problem with that is, like you said, will the Ravens match it? You have to offer a big enough amount that the Ravens won't match it.
You know what? The Jets probably maybe they should go ahead and do that. Maybe they should do that. Make him an unbelievable offer. Give him $200 million guaranteed, right? Give him 4 years and see what happens. I'm not sure I don't think the Ravens will match $200 million guaranteed now. I don't think they will. But that's, you know what? That's the only way the Jets are going to get this done. Because if they try for something a little smaller, the Ravens are going to match it, and then they lose even more leverage against the Packers, right? The Packers will sit on Aaron Rodgers until well into the preseason, and then the Jets are going to wind up giving even more to get him.
Yeah. I think it has to be the Jets to make the move because the Packers...
They need to make the move soon. They have to get it done. They have to get it done the week before the draft or the week of the draft. It's got to happen then.
Why? Why do you think?
Because that would mean the Packers value that 13th pick,
right?
And they would worry that the team Jets have with Aaron Rodgers that there'll be a playoff team, and then the pick will be worse in 2024.
I mean, I think the Jets are desperate. The Packers have what they need, and Aaron Rodgers kind of screwed them over by saying, "I want to play for the Jets." Because then the Packers are like, okay, he wants to play with you. You want him. Make us an offer that we want. And the Jets are like,
and by the way,
we want him. We need him.
By the way, you painted yourself into a corner by bringing in all these other surrounding pieces.
Right.
before you made the deal to get Aaron Rodgers to make sure it happened, and they didn't do it. That's their biggest mistake, I think, right now.
Do you think that they got all these pieces to say, Aaron Rodgers, isn't New York interesting? And then Aaron Rodgers like, yeah, I want this, that, and the Jets got him. But then I think they forgot about the whole point of, they still need you. You need to be traded.
That's right.
I'm interested in you.
What other places there for Aaron Rodgers to go right now?
The Packers.
The Packers,
that's it. That's it.
But he isn't going back
there. He doesn't want to play there.
He doesn't want to play there, and they don't really want him. So there isn't any other place for him to go except the Jets. So I think the Packers are in the driver's seat.
Absolutely. But we are going to take a break. But coming up, there's a new development in the Lamar Jackson Baltimore Ravens situation. And are the Warriors getting back into championship form after winning their first back-to-back road games since late January? We discussed all that right after this.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
Podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.
You have a lot to say. Maybe you've thought, I should start a podcast. Meet Anchor, the easiest way to make a podcast ever. It's a powerful mobile app and web tool that lets you record a podcast anywhere and distribute it everywhere. It's great whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out. And it's 100% free. You can record your show straight into Anchor on your phone, iPad, or the web, using any mic you want. Record alone or with friends or co-hosts anywhere in the world. You can add background music and transitions, and your listeners can send you voice messages that you can incorporate right into your next episode. If you want to produce your show using another app, you can upload your own audio directly from web or mobile, and still take advantage of Anchor's totally free podcast hosting. Once your podcast is ready to publish, Anchor can automatically distribute it to every major podcast platform. That includes Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify, so your listeners can hear your show wherever they want. And on the web, you can see detailed analytics about how people are listening. Plus, you'll get a great-looking profile page where anyone can listen to your podcast or subscribe to it. And if you want to ask your audience to support your work, Anchor makes it easy to collect monthly payments from the people who love your podcast and want to see it grow. You really don't need a recording studio, expensive equipment, or a bunch of technical knowledge to deal with a podcast feed. Just get started and join the diverse community of podcasters already on Anchor. We can't wait to hear your podcast.
Welcome back to the Harvey Hour. My name is Nathan Harvey, and as always, I'm joined alongside my dad, Stephen Harvey. Let's get into our next topic because we're talking about Lamar Jackson once again. The NFL has released a statement where they basically said, it says in here, the statement goes, the NFLPA has informed us that a person by the name of Ken Francis, who is not an NFLPA certified agent, may be contacting clubs and attempting to persuade club personnel to enter into negotiations with or concerning Lamar Jackson, who is currently under a non-exclusive franchise tender with the Baltimore Ravens. And basically to not do it because it is illegal under Article 48 of the Collective Bargaining Agreement. So Lamar has got himself, reportedly, a non-NFLPA certified representative to try to make offers to him. And then Lamar clapped back by saying that he never, this guy, Ken Francis, never was negotiating for him. But that doesn't mean he doesn't call up other teams to see where their head's at. So, it's something like that. Yeah. But this is a weird situation. It keeps getting weirder and weirder and weirder. So when it's all said and done, and we could talk about the process here in this topic, how do you think this contract situation works itself out?
Wow. Well, we just talked about Lamar Jackson in our last segment related to the Jets, but I think Lamar Jackson made a serious mistake. He should have gone and got himself an agent. He should have an agent. He's one of the best players in the NFL. An agent's fee is 3%
at
of
most.
The contract. At most. 3%. Okay? 3% of $200 million is $6 million. Okay? That's nothing. That's zero on a $200 million guaranteed contract. He could have had it. Okay? And he didn't get it. You need to have an agent. This is complicated business. Okay? the agent has a lot of contacts that you don't have, Lamar. Okay? You should have gotten yourself an agent. You made a mistake there. You could still go get one. Why you came of this
NFLPA certified.
Yeah, I can understand why the NFL doesn't like that. Any schmo could come in there and could be, you and
I could call for Lamar.
An unethical, somebody who's really unethical. Some of the players are not that savvy when it comes to the business side of this game. So the NFL's trying to look out for their players by saying that these guys should be certified. I think that's not an unreasonable request. Why the hell he went and found some guy who was not certified? Probably because he said, I'll take 1%, right? $2 million. So Lamar said, wow, I saved $4 million. But guess what, Lamar? You're never going to get the $200 million, right? You're never going to get that $200 million. That's what you want to focus on. Get some professional help here. Get somebody who can get you that contract. So, I think he's doing it partially because he's setting an example. He wants to show that the big machine of the NFL can be beat by one player doing this on his own. And I think the other players respect him for that, for trying to do it. But he's costing himself a lot of money by doing this.
Yeah.
The only way he could save himself now is, I think, the New York Jets. And I think that if the deal does not get done, if the Packers hold out and it doesn't get done by the draft, the week of the draft, that you're going to see the tables are going to turn, and Aaron Rodgers is going to not be. The Packers aren't going to rush it. The Jets are going to try to counter with and get the leverage back by going after Lamar.
Right.
And I think that's what Lamar's waiting for, to see if that happens. So you better have somebody there to help him get that deal done if it does happen. That's what I would say.
It's such a weird situation. And Lamar's supposed to have this exclusive interview on his YouTube channel. And then after he posted about how, this guy, Ken Francis, never negotiated for Lamar, he then comes out and starts promoting his travel workout system with his business partner, Ken Francis, about his, it's like a workout machine on a cart or something. I don't even understand it. Realistically, this is not a mature way to handle this situation.
He's one of the best players in the NFL.
I agree. I put him top 3.
Get yourself an agent, one of the best agents in the NFL, and then you're going to get what you want.
Right.
Yeah. That's a mistake he's making. His situation's gone from bad to worse now.
Oh, absolutely.
It's gone from bad to worse. And I understand now he's even saying, I don't really want a fully guaranteed contract.
Yep.
Why would he say that? Why not? Why not stick with
To try to get an offer. To try to get an offer.
Well, he may wind up, maybe he will get one. We'll see. But then I think the most likely outcome here is that the Jets wind up with Aaron Rodgers. Lamar Jackson doesn't get an offer from anybody.
Stays with the Ravens?
Stays with the Ravens, plays on the franchise tag for $32 million.
Ooh, that's interesting.
All right. Then next year, his leverage comes back.
Right.
Because then the Ravens know that they only have one more year with him on the franchise tag, and then they wouldn't get anything for him.
Right.
They get nothing. So he has more leverage. He's going to have to play a year for $32 million and then get his leverage back. He'll probably get 40 or so million on the franchise tag the second time around if they have to go that route. And then he'd probably get a $150 million contract. So he'd still get all his money, but he's taking a lot more risk because he's got to stay healthy all that time and play, at least 14, 15 games a year to make that happen. So, and that might not happen based on what's happened the last 2 years, right?
Well,
he lost leverage. His situation went from fantastic, okay? Even after the first year he got hurt.
Right.
He was out 4 games, right?
At the end,
he should have signed. He got a $200 million guaranteed offer then, even though some of the guarantees are a little hard to understand. He still got a $200 million guarantee then.
Technically.
He should have signed it. Because then he got hurt again. His situation went from excellent to not so good, right? And then he still didn't strike a deal. And now he's got this agent issue, and he's saying, I don't really want a fully guaranteed contract. His situation has gone downhill big time right now.
Well, the Ravens could franchise tag him 2 more times.
Yeah.
So all the way up to 2025, they could franchise tag him, which would be, if we're just going off...
No, they can only do it for 23 and 24.
No, they can do it for 25 as well. Because this is their first franchise tag. They could do it 2 other times. They could franchise tag him 3 times.
I thought it was only once more.
No, they could do it 2 more times. So
Yeah.
if the Ravens, let's just say they only offered him 3 years, $133 million fully guaranteed. Let's just say that was the base. That was the only number. No injury guarantees or some weird springing guarantee, which now they're just making up words here. If they just franchise tag him for 3 years, that's 3 years, $177 million guaranteed to Lamar Jackson for 3 years.
Well, if he doesn't get hurt.
Well, no, that's just the franchise tag number.
I understand that, but why would they? Let's say he goes out and rips his knee up in this year. Why would they franchise tag him next year?
Right? That's a good question.
He put himself at a lot of risk. He could have had $200 million guaranteed. And even if he got hurt, he would get $25 million, I think, in that first contract. They offered him a contract that was unbelievable. And he made the mistake of looking at Deshaun Watson's contract, okay, and said that's the new standard in the NFL, and it wasn't. He should have known that the Cleveland Clowns were the ones that made that deal.
There we go. Here's my name.
They were the ones that made that deal, and that wasn't a deal anybody else in the world ever would have made. Right? Never will make again.
The owner said that. The owner said that, and I think the GM and the owner of the Ravens came out and said that, like, this screwed up negotiations with Lamar. When Deshaun Watson made this deal, by the way, Deshaun Watson has an agent who got him out of that, like, sexual assault, massage, random situation.
Deshaun Watson, he's the one that looks like the real genius here.
Oh, he
had himself an excellent agent.
Yeah.
Right? He's got the right talent working for him.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what led to, right?
They got him out of that situation.
Yeah. And the Ravens, another mistake they made, they should have gotten the deal done with Lamar before Deshaun Watson got his deal. They should have made a big deal with him then. And you know what? The Browns might have saved money then. They might have saved money.
Maybe.
It's unbelievable. I can't. This is unbelievable.
Well, I brought this up on what was it, Monday's show. The Browns made that kind of they made that offer to Deshaun Watson because they were desperate. They did not want to deal with Baker Mayfield anymore. They wanted to move off him rapidly, and Deshaun Watson's market was very, very quickly ascending. I think the Falcons were in on him, the Panthers, all these teams were in on Deshaun Watson. The Browns actually dropped out. Then they came back in and literally stole Deshaun Watson away from every other team.
Well, it wasn't hard to steal him with $230 million guaranteed.
I agree. But here's where I think the Ravens actually are looking at that saying, that's them, because the Ravens, I don't think, are desperate. The Jets are desperate. The Browns, was it last year, 2 years ago, were desperate. The Ravens have won and been successful and gone to multiple playoffs with Joe Flacco and won a Super Bowl with Trent Dilfer. Why, you may ask? It wasn't because of quarterback play. Top 5 to top 10 defense and a great running game. What have the Ravens had since 2018? The number 1 rushing team and a top 10 defense generally.
Lamar was one of the big reasons they had the top rushing game.
I agree.
Right?
But I think the Ravens may go into the season saying, we could draft like a Max Duggan or a Stetson Bennett and still win some games. Because they won games with Anthony Brown and Tyler Huntley. It did not look pretty under any regard. But they still won games with Anthony Brown and could have won that playoff game with Tyler Huntley starting quarterback.
Yeah.
If, was it Hubbard? I forgot who took the fumble away. Ran 98 yards, whatever it was. If it wasn't because of that, the Browns the Ravens could have won that playoff game with Tyler Huntley at quarterback. And guess what? Tyler Huntley, I believe, would have had the same amount of playoff wins as Lamar Jackson.
The Ravens have good coaches. They have a good head coach. They know that it's a team game and that they need to have good defense, good offense. It can't be just one guy out there winning for them. So I agree with you that if they lose out on Lamar, that's not going to be the end of the world for them.
I don't think they'll think it's not the end of the world.
They won't think it's the end of the world.
They'll beef up the run game. They'll beef up the defense.
Yeah.
Because it's the same ideology as the Patriots. Good, efficient run game and a tremendous defense.
Yeah.
It's a vintage Steelers idea as well. In today's NFL, though, it doesn't work like that.
Not as well.
Not as well, and it's very, very rare you see that type of success now currently. Mm-hmm. But I think if I'm trying to answer the question posted as how do you think this contract situation works out, the Ravens are still the favorites to retain Lamar at plus 120. The Colts, as you recommended about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, are, I believe, plus 220. So they're number 2.
Well,
So-
I think that if Aaron Rodgers doesn't, if the Jets can't strike a deal with Aaron Rodgers by the
Jets going to
by the
skyrocket
draft,
those odds.
I think they're gonna pivot and move to Lamar to force the Packers' hand or land Lamar Jackson. One or the other.
I think as soon as
and the Jets have got the money to overpay.
yeah,
I don't know why they haven't got they made a huge mistake in not getting Aaron Rodgers' deal done before they put all these pieces in place that make them look weak, saying that they got to get Aaron Rodgers now.
I think it was to appease Aaron Rodgers by saying, "Look at the pieces we have. Okay, I'll go to New York." And then they didn't figure out how to get them
Yeah,
there
well,
first.
you know what? They could have brought those pieces in after they signed him.
Exactly.
They could have told him, "Look, what do you want? You already told us
You're
what you
here
wanted.
now, what do you want?"
We went and got these pieces now, and
Yeah.
we can't get you." Huh? How would that work?
Oh man,
It's crazy.
Lamar Jackson. Do you think there's a chance Lamar sits out this year? It would kill his value, I think.
Yeah.
But also,
Well,
it would make him
you know
less
what?
injury prone.
If he sits out, can the Ravens still franchise tag him next year? What's his contract? I don't know. Would he become a free agent then?
Yeah, it would be the same process as this year. They would franchise. He would technically be a free agent, but
So
they
they
franchise
still
tag.
control him. They still control him even if he sits out this year. The Ravens still control him. We ought to look into that. I don't know what the answer is there.
I think Lamar needs to sign his franchise tag. I believe.
And then he could sit out.
If he signs it, he could sit. Technically, he could hold out. Yeah, technically, he can. But if he doesn't sign it, I'm not sure what happens there.
We should figure that out.
Yeah, yeah.
That's important. That's a very important
We're
point.
gonna look into that because I don't know if he's already signed. Lamar, I don't think will sign a franchise tag. It doesn't seem like his type of mentality.
If he could be a free agent by sitting out for 1 year, he might do it. Maybe he would do it.
The Rams could just franchise
Because
tag
he
him
won't be.
again.
He'll be healthy. He'll be healthy, and everyone
That's
knows
true.
what he can do.
Right.
So that might be the least. It cost himself some money, but he could probably make it up. He could probably make it up with the deal that he would get as a free agent. So we should know.
Yeah.
We don't know that. We should know that. That's important information.
I do think that's a very important fact. I don't think he signed it. Does that make him technically a free agent?
He's not free now. Right now, he's not a free bird.
But
Right.
if he doesn't sign the franchise tag by the season start, I think that's a whole different situation.
I don't know. We don't know the answer.
Because I don't think then technically the Ravens still retain him because he's not technically under contract with them. That I gotta look into that. I think that's a very, very interesting part about
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna look into that. But let's get into our last topic here. We're talking about the Warriors because the Warriors beat the Mavericks back on Wednesday, 127-125, and they play tonight at 10 p.m. on NBA TV. They play
They're
the
at
Sixers
home,
tonight.
right?
They are at home. I want to talk about the game because Mark Cuban protested that game actually because of that weird inbounds play with 2 minutes left in the third quarter. That's a dumb idea because there's 2 minutes left in the third quarter, not the fourth quarter. So, and the last protest that was successful, I believe, was back in 2008 and 9. I think one of those years. So I don't know why you're doing that, but this is
That's
the first.
just Mark Cuban. That's who he is.
Hey, Mark Cuban's got to check his own team first because Luka is complaining every single time Luka gets touched. He's like, "Oh, ref, that's a foul." He also did some
money,
saying
yeah.
that the ref got paid off. I think the NBA will actually fine him, potentially suspend him because I don't think the NBA likes that. But let's get into this question, where the Warriors won back-to-back games for the first time since late January.
Yeah.
And this is the first time this season.
Back to back on the road.
Back on the road. This is the first time this season that they've won a game after losing the first quarter. They were 0-20 this season. When I believe it's on the road. When they lost the first quarter, they would lose that game. I believe it's on the road. This is the first time they won it. So they're 1-21 with that. And this is the first time since January where they won back-to-back road games. And the Warriors look okay. They didn't look great. Curry, he focused more on passing.
Yeah, I think
than
that
scoring.
was. I think that was the difference. He got the other players involved more instead of trying to score 50 or 60 on his own.
Clay did not play well. Only put up 9 points in this game. But do you think the Warriors are catching fire at the exact right time that could propel them back into championship form?
Possibly. I think that they need to play well over the next couple of weeks when they potentially can get back Gary Payton Jr. and Wiggins. Wiggins, it sounds like Wiggins is going to come back.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Ooh.
And if they get both those guys back, then their defense improves a lot. and I think they could make a pretty deep play. They will be in the top 6, and they could potentially make a deep playoff run. I think with those guys coming back, but they've got to get there first, and they're probably 2 weeks away from that. But I think that with Curry playing more like a point guard instead of a shooting guard, I think that played well for them. You know, he had like 13 assists.
Yeah.
And he had some rebounds, and he still had 20 points, right? I think he had 20 points.
20 points, 13 rebounds. 13 assists, 5 rebounds.
Yeah. So that might be maybe that's the formula they need to use, at least on the road. They seem to be able to win pretty easily at home.
It's just a question of, can guys hit their shots? Because you had a guy like Jonathan Kuminga go 9 of 11 from the floor. How many times are you going to see that? Jordan Poole shot about 50%. He shot 6 of 13.
Yeah, well, Curry got him the ball with open space, so they had open shots, and they were able to knock
The Warriors
them down.
missed some of that. And you know what? The Warriors did not play great. Klay Thompson only scored 9 points. He shot 1 of 4 from 3. It's 25%. Dante DiVincenzo.
Well, that should give them some hope, right? That they won on the road, even with Klay playing not that well and Curry being a distributor.
But do you think that could also be, well, arguably, not really arguably, I was going to say the Mavericks were missing their best guy, but I think Luka's way better than Kyrie. The Mavericks were still down Kyrie Irving. He didn't play in this game. I think Kyrie could have made a big difference here because the Warriors on the road don't play great defense.
Actually, the Dallas hasn't played that well with both those guys playing.
Losing record since that.
So that might not have made that big a difference.
But Luka shot 27 times in that game. 27 shots. They made 11 of those. He went 2 of 10 from 3. Not a great 3-point shooter.
No.
Not a great, but if Luka...
How many assists did he have?
He had 17.
17 assists?
17 assists.
Wow, and he took 27 shots.
Took 27 shots at 30 points. So the efficiency is not really there. 30 points on 27 shots, not really great efficiency-wise.
No, but if he had 17 assists to go with it, that's not so bad.
That's really, really good. But I'm going to say, they play tonight. Is Kevon Looney or Draymond Green going to match up against Embiid's physicality? I said back on Monday, or was it on Friday? Embiid could drop 45.
You know what? Probably not. But they're playing at home, and they play well at home.
They do. They have one of the best home records.
And I don't think
the
the surrounding cast for Embiid is that great. So
James Harden did not have a great game recently.
Embiid could have a fantastic game. They still could lose.
And they did lose, I believe.
In fact, they'll probably try a little bit to stop him, realizing that they're not going to really not shut him down and focus on the other guys.
Maybe. Because that's actually what the Celtics did with Giannis in the playoffs. They said Giannis is going to drop 40. We already know that. Let's not get Drew Holiday or Brook Lopez, any of these other pieces. Let's not let them get hot. And so that's basically what they did. So maybe that is the case, but I'm going to say it again. No, the Warriors are not going to perform well. The standings are up here. This is their saving grace. The West is wide open for any team. Any team can move up or down. Now, outside of the 3 seed is basically where you're not really going to touch. I believe there's 8-9 games remaining in the season. But from seed 4 to seed 12, they're in with like a game and a half, 2 games with one another, generally.
That's what the NBA loves, right? Everybody's still in it.
Not when the West sucks compared to the East.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean, this is the West. The people who root for the teams in the West, every team's in it, practically, right? Look at that. The Jazz are in it at number 12.
Yeah.
Right?
And that's the thing. Can the Warriors, I want to bring up I don't have the Warriors schedule in front of me, but I'll bring it up just so we could see. Can the Warriors really beat teams on the road consistently? They just won 2 in a row, but here's their schedule right now. They go up against the 76ers tonight, which I'm saying that's a loss. Then the Timberwolves, Pelicans, and Spurs at home. They should be able to beat all 3 of those teams, although Karl-Anthony Towns is back from his injury. The Pelicans, who knows? The Spurs are like the second worst team in the NBA. Should beat them. They go to the Nuggets, the number 1 team is number 1 seed in the West, as we see here.
That one.
On the road. Probably lose that, although Nikola Jokic and the Nuggets have been on sort of a losing streak. The Thunder outscore you. Then you're going up against the Kings, who have one of the most explosive offenses, but they don't play defense. That's on the road. So can you outscore one of the highest scoring teams in the league? And then you got the Portland Trailblazers, who are at least the third. What seed are they? They are the 13th seed.
What's their record?
They are 32-40.
Yeah, so they're not going to. It's probably these 12
17
teams.
and 18 at home.
I think these 12 teams are the ones.
Obviously.
Right?
Yeah,
And
I don't think anything's gonna
there
move
may
up
be
there.
some reshuffling in the some of the seedings there.
The
because of the
Trailblazers
records.
are 3 games out from the 12th spot, so I do think it's going to be this bundle of teams that are going to be a part of it. The question is who gets into that 10, 9, and 8, 7 seed to
Yeah,
be in
well,
the
the
play-in.
Lakers are in there now.
Hey, we said the Lakers should be at least this season. We said the Lakers should at least be in the
Is
play-in.
LeBron, is he coming back soon?
There's a report that says LeBron will probably return for the last week of the season, so he'll play 2-3 games, maybe. But the question is though, how will he fit? I think that's a serious question. Austin Reeves is going off. Austin Reeves is actually exploding. He's an undrafted. He was an undrafted second-year player this year. He's been playing great the past week, a week and a half, 2 weeks. I don't think like to me this is fool's gold. Great, the Warriors are performing well now. How about you actually create a rhythm? And I think if you go out here and dominate the 76ers, that may be something. If you see some sort of new energy, some sort of more clickiness, maybe because on the road. They have no cohesion with each other whatsoever.
Well, they've won 2 in a row on the road now.
They played, who they play on the road? I have it right in front of me. They played the Houston Rockets, the Houston Rockets have actually upset some really good teams, but they are, I believe, the worst team in the NBA.
Yeah.
And the Dallas Mavericks without Kyrie Irving. You could debate whether Kyrie makes them better or worse. That's up for the debate in the comments if you want. But the question is, though, can the Warriors, because I think the best they could do, let's see, they are currently, were they 9 and, let's see if I can bring up their road record here. The Warriors are 9-29. They have 3, they could end the year, 12-29. That's their best road record that they could potentially get. 12-29. And history says
They only have 3 more games on the road after this?
Nuggets, Kings, Trailblazers. That's it.
So they'll probably win one of those.
And it will probably be against the Trailblazers.
Yeah, and so they have how many home games?
They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 home games.
5 games. So they'll probably win 4 of those. 4. So they're going to win.
I think every game
four,
is.
they're going to win
stretch.
5. They're going to go 5-3.
So
at the end, and so you got to look at what the Clippers,
5-3, they'd be
Clippers record,
43
the Timberwolves
and 39.
remaining record, and the Mavericks remaining record. Right, that win against the Mavericks was a big win.
It was a big
it's a
win.
huge win.
The Mavericks, I believe, were in the 6th spot at that at the point of tip off there. So the Warriors moved up to the last secured playoff spot. The question is, I mean, if they win, let's say they win 4 games, and any one of those seeds, the 4 or 5 seed lose. And I think that Kings game, depending on how the Kings perform, if the Kings start dropping, teams in the West can move up. I don't think the Kings will because the Kings are.
I don't think the Kings are gonna. I think the Kings have got the 3 seed locked.
Hypothetically, if the Kings start to drop, and the Warriors may be in a situation where the Warriors can move up if they beat the Kings, move up to a higher seeding, a much higher seeding, depending on how everything turns out.
I'd say the Warriors could get as high as number 4.
Yes, they can.
They could get as high as number 4.
And with the schedule, it seems potentially. I think the Thunder could outscore you. The Timberwolves and the 76ers, I think, could out-physical you. The Kings could outscore you. The Trailblazers may have given up because it's the last game of the year. And here's the thing. Do you trust the Nuggets? I don't. I don't fear the Nuggets at all. Yes, the number 1 seed, and yes, Nikola Jokic is going for the MVP. Mike Malone, the head coach, does not. He thinks this MVP race is ugly and dirty and everything like that, and it's affecting the players. But I don't really care about that. I don't fear the Nuggets whatsoever. In the regular season, yeah, they may be an okay team.
Well, they're going to be the one. I'd say they got the best chance of being the 1 seed.
Even with Ja back with the Grizzlies.
Yeah, well, it's 3.5 games, and there's only 8 to play, right? 8 or 9 to play.
8 or 9 to play, yeah.
That's a lot to try to make up with that fewer games.
Right. So, I'm saying the Warriors. This is just fool's gold. I'm not believing this. I
You don't believe in what?
I've been the Warriors at most times a big supporter of the Warriors, and what I saw this year gives me. It's like the Patriots this past season. I'm reading the writing on the wall that says this is fool's gold. This is don't believe in this, don't trust this, because they're inconsistent. Jordan Poole's going to have a bad shooting day. Clay may score 9 points when he needs to score 15, and I don't know.
I say that the Warriors hang on to the 6th seed, maybe even get to the 5 seed, and get reinforcements with Gary Payton Jr. coming back.
That's going to be a big one.
And Wiggins coming back. It lets them to at least win their first playoff series, I think. Get into the second round. I don't know beyond that.
I'm going to bring this up one more time, but if the playoffs started now, they would be playing, what is it, the Kings. They are not beating the Kings in a 7-game series. There is zero chance.
With Wiggins and Gary Payton Jr.
The thing
back?
is, though, I don't think Wiggins is going to come back. He's dealing with it. It's still a serious
I heard he
issue.
might come back. Yeah.
I'm not trusting that. They allow the 25th most points in the league. They're 25th in points allowed this season. And they are 19th in defensive rating. And they're going to need to slow down one of the... I'm going to bring up... Well, let's see what the Kings' offensive rating is. I'm curious. First, and they're first in points per game. So the number 1 scoring team in the league, they're going to need to slow them down.
Yeah, well.
I don't trust it. I don't trust it at all. But I do think this wraps up
Did the Kings even make the playoffs last year?
No, I think they've been on
they don't have any experience playing.
I think they've been on like a 17-year playoff draft, something like that.
All their players have lots of playoff experience. Won the NBA championship last year.
Right.
That is a factor in it.
What's crazy is I'm looking at this right now. The preseason odds to win a championship for the Kings, plus 50,000. I honestly, hey, if the Kings make a run, some people made a lot of money if they bet this. Plus 50,000 preseason odds to win the championship. Hey, good for the. I'm proud. I'm happy for the Kings. The Kings have been like the joke of California because you had the Clippers and the Lakers and the Warriors, and the Kings were kind of like they're like, hi, how you doing? So the Kings doing well. Good for them. About time they did well. But this will wrap up this episode of the Harvey Hour. Really great episode. Really great episode. A lot of topics. We got a lot of stuff planned. Heading into the draft, we're each going to do a mock draft. Later on in the year, we'll be doing off-season grades for the teams who make the most moves and stuff like that. So we got a lot planned. But for this episode of the Harvey Hour, if you missed anything, anchor.fm/the Harvey Hour. You could go listen to this anywhere you go, or check in the description for links like iHeartRadio, Spotify, and everything along those lines. But for this episode, my name is Nathan Harvey. That's my dad, Stephen Harvey. We are the Harvey Hour. We will catch you guys Monday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube.
We love sports.
See you Monday.
Introducing video podcasts on Spotify.
Transform your storytelling into a show everyone can watch
Or listen to.
Easily upload your video through Anchor, Spotify's free podcast creation tool.
So whether you're showing off a new recipe,
Interviewing an exclusive guest,
or uncovering the next mystery,
you can now reach a whole new audience with Spotify.
podcasting just became more than audio.
Create with Anchor, watch on Spotify.